Time now for the Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.
You have not had a chance, at least on this show, to reflect on the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. This is, of course, would have been his 32nd birthday. We are in D.C. because the president promised Erica that he was going to award Charlie the Presidential Medal of Freedom on his 32nd birthday. He literally moved world events in order to race back to D.C. to make good on that promise to Erica. So the floor is yours, Mr. Secretary. Just expound on what Charlie meant to you, your interactions with him, and what the last month has meant to you in this country.
Andrew, I was actually walking out of the vice president's office when news of what happened to Charlie hit, and then the news that he had passed came after that. And what really hit me was if someone wanted to try to end the MAGA movement, the America First, and the Turning Point USA ethos, obviously, 10 years out, Charlie was going to be carrying the torch. And if you wanted to try to end the movement, the way to do it was to assassinate Charlie. And clearly, this is what was on that person's mind. We'll see if there was a larger network involved with this. I have no reason to believe there was. I have no reason to believe there wasn't. And to me, everyone knows Charlie was a family man. He was a Christian. He was a patriot. But the Charlie I knew, too, was also an educator. Mm-hmm. And what I admired on his show was the love that he had for all of his listeners, for everyone involved in Turning Point, for his country. But what he did on the show, and that's how I got to know him. And one of the reasons I'm sitting here today is that Charlie was such an aggressive and forceful advocate for me to become Secretary of the Treasury. That's true. Because of the time we'd spent together. And his financial breadth and depth was incredible. He was an autodidact. He was self-taught in finance, and he passed that knowledge on because he saw, as I saw, that what had happened to this generation, this group of young people, and it's been a tough time. There was the financial crisis in 2008. There was COVID, but he was optimistic and always talked about the future. How do we get ahead? How do we stay ahead? And Charlie, like myself, believes in the system. And if you believe the system works, which I do, which he did, you want to bring more people into the system. And it's through education. That's why I say he was such a great educator.
I think that's really well said. If you boil down his mission was about his faith. His mission was about his country and his family. But his mission was, in a general sense, about bringing disaffected young people into the American dream. He wanted them to buy into America, the idea of what this country is. And you guys talked about that. You actually had, I believe it was April, Alexandra, you could fact check me on that, but it was Financial Literacy Month. And you honored him in the show, and we brought in a bunch of TPUSA chapters from around the country, and you talked about finance. So you have shown your commitment to the same things that Charlie was committed to, of bringing in the next generation and living the American dream as you have.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel. Stay informed anytime, anywhere with the Salem News Channel at 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This has been The Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.